There's more fallout from the Jeffrey Epstein files that were released by the Justice Department. Who's in them and who wants their information kept secret? The Justice Department is trying to quickly fix problems with redactions. It seems some survivors had their names and even nude photos accidentally released. Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller is live in New York. She's been following all of this since day one. Alex, a judge was set to hold that hearing today, dealing with the DOJ's failure to make those redactions. It didn't happen, so why?
Well, it seems like the problem is almost getting fixed. That's according to the Department of Justice. The federal judge canceling Wednesday's hearing that would look at the Department of Justice's failure to redact many personal documents relating to the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The DOJ says they will now fix those documents, but survivors tell me they're frustrated. The Department of Justice agreeing to correct redaction errors in its latest batch of files connected to Jeffrey Epstein. That's according to lawyers representing survivors of the convicted sex offender. One of those lawyers telling a judge that after discussions with the DOJ, they trust that the deficiencies will be corrected expeditiously and in a manner that meaningfully protects victims from further harm. Lawyers previously said more than 100 women had their names made public after the DOJ released more than 3.5 million pages on Friday. And there have been thousands of instances of survivors' personal information being made public.
Names, IDs, emails, all sorts of personal information was out there. It just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like it's very deliberate.
Congressman Tim Burchett sits on the House Oversight Committee, which is overseeing the Epstein investigation.
The fact that somebody's name was put out in error or whatever, to me, is egregious, and that just, it can't be.
Attorney General Pam Bondi blamed redaction mistakes on various factors, including technical or human error. The Justice Department told Scripps News it is working around the clock to fix issues and will republish appropriately redacted pages as soon as possible. This as President Trump says it's time to move on from focusing on Epstein.
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else.
Democrats firing back.
And you want us just to forget about it and move on? What about the survivors? It just shows how immature, venal, corrupt the elite in this country are, that they're saying, let's just move on.
And an update on Capitol Hill's investigation into the DOJ. We will see former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton testify on Capitol Hill for the House Oversight Committee. They were facing a contempt of Congress vote. We know that this testimony will be behind closed doors, but it will be videotaped.
Alex, there's also the issue of whether or not we have seen all that we should be able to see. Not that anybody has gone through all 3 million documents, but we got 3 million documents on Friday. Do we expect to see the others?
Not according to the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, saying Friday when these documents were dumped that this is really all we're going to get. But if you talk to the two major leaders on Capitol Hill who wrote this legislation, they say that they think this might be half of the documents in totality. I also reached out to the Department of Justice to ask when we were going to get the context around it, the reasons for the redactions as required by law. They did not answer my question. They only said that they were continuing to work on redacting all of those names.
Scripps News national correspondent Alex Miller live for us in New York City. Alex, as always, we thank you.